I worked overnight security in a corporate office building for about a year. 12 floors, mostly empty after 8 p.m. My job was simple: monitor cameras, do hourly patrols, log anything unusual. Most nights were painfully boring. Around 3 months in, something small started happening. At exactly 2:13 a.m., one of the hallway cameras on the 7th floor would flicker. Not cut out, not glitch, just flicker once. The first few times, I assumed it was a loose connection. The building was old, but it kept happening. Every night, 2:13 a.m., one flicker. So one night I pulled up the footage from earlier in the week. Same thing. Different days, same exact time. That's when I noticed something else. On 2 of the recordings, during the flicker, there was a shape in the hallway. Just for a frame. Tall, standing near the far wall. When the image stabilized, the hallway was empty again. I thought maybe it was a compression artifact. Digital noise. So the next night at 2:10, I took the elevator up to the 7th floor and waited. The hallway was silent. Motion lights dim. The carpet muffled every step. 2:13 came. The lights didn't flicker, but something else did. At the far end of the corridor, one of the office doors was slightly open. I was sure it had been closed during my last patrol. I walked toward it, slow enough that I could hear my own breathing in the quiet. The door wasn't just open, it was unlocked. I pushed it gently. Inside, nothing looked disturbed. Chairs in place, desk clean, windows reflecting only me. Then I heard it, not behind me, not in the hallway, inside the room. A soft shifting sound, like someone adjusting their weight in a chair. I froze. There was no one there, but the rolling office chair across the room slowly turned, just slightly, as if someone had just gotten up. I didn't finish that shift. I told my supervisor the camera wiring needed inspection and left early. The camera on the 7th floor was replaced the following week. It never flickered again, but I still think about the fact that the flicker stopped the same night I decided to be up there at 2:13. Almost like something realized I was watching back. I worked as a cleaning technician for a small train station outside the city. My shift started at midnight, after the last train departed. The station was small: 1 platform, 1 waiting room, a ticket booth, and an underground pedestrian tunnel that connected both sides of the tracks. The tunnel was always the worst part. It amplified everything. One night, around 1:40 a.m., I was sweeping near the stairs when I heard footsteps echoing in the tunnel below. That wasn't unusual. Sometimes late passengers ran down thinking they missed a train, but there were no more trains scheduled until 5 a.m. The footsteps were slow, measured, not running, just walking. I leaned over the railing and looked down. The tunnel was empty. The lights hummed softly. No movement. The footsteps continued, except now, they weren't echoing from the tunnel. They were coming from directly beneath me, like someone was walking under the floor. There's nothing under the tunnel. It's concrete over reinforced ground. I stood completely still. The steps stopped. Then one final sound echoed upward. A single knock from below. Pause for 2 seconds. I backed away and convinced myself it was pipes contracting or something structural. But later that night, while emptying trash inside the waiting room, I noticed something strange. The station clock, the big analog one on the wall, had stopped. 1:40 a.m., the exact time I'd heard the footsteps. It wasn't broken. The next day, it worked fine. But I started noticing something after that. Every shift, around 1:40, the air in the tunnel felt heavier, colder. And once, just once, as I was locking up, I saw a figure standing at the far end of the platform, completely still, facing the tracks. I assumed it was a passenger who wandered in. When I blinked, it was gone. No sound of a door opening, no footsteps leaving. I transferred locations a month later. I used to work overnight IT support for a small company. We handled system monitoring for various businesses. The office was open 24/7, but from midnight to 6 a.m., I was usually alone. The building itself wasn't creepy, just cubicles, fluorescent lights, vending machines. Around 3 a.m. one night, the main support line rang. That almost never happened. Most clients were in different time zones. I answered. There was no greeting, just breathing, slow, controlled. I assumed it was a bad connection and said our standard line again. IT support, this is Mark. Silence. Then, very clearly, a voice said, "You're the only one there." It wasn't a question. I felt a chill run through me. I checked the caller ID. It displayed our own office number, like the call was coming from inside the building. I stood up immediately and checked the other desks. Empty. The call was still active. I picked up another handset from the manager's desk to see if it was some internal glitch. The moment I lifted it, the breathing stopped. Both lines went dead. I searched the building. Storage room, break room, restrooms. Nothing. When I checked the call logs later, there was no record of the call. But here's the part that made me quit. 2 nights later, at exactly 3 a.m., the phone rang again. I let it ring. It rang exactly 5 times, then stopped. And my computer screen, without me touching anything, opened a blank document. And slowly, letter by letter, text appeared. I'm still here. No one ever found an explanation in the system logs. They said it was probably a remote access glitch. Maybe it was, but I never worked another overnight shift after that. Some places just feel different when you're the only one there. And sometimes you aren't.